All right, some breaking news to get to early on a Tuesday. The Philadelphia Eagles have promoted quarterbacks coach Brian Johnson to offensive coordinator to replace Shane Steichen. You're watching Eagles Now. I'm Chase Senior coming at you from the crib because throughout this offseason and year-round for that matter, whenever breaking Eagles news happens, I'm going to bring you a show regardless of where I am. So show us some love and subscribe. We're closing in on 42,000 subscribers. So Adam Schefter breaking the news just moments ago that the Eagles have made this news official that we've been talking about for a couple of months here, and it was a matter of when it was going to happen. That when early on this Tuesday that the Eagles promoting Brian Johnson to OC to replace Shane Steichen, who went to the Indianapolis Colts to become their head coach. Johnson had multiple opportunities across the National Football League for other offensive coordinator jobs, but according to Schefter, he ultimately stays with the Eagles because what a great opportunity it is for him to take over as offensive coordinator for an offense that set multiple franchise records last year. And even though they're expected to lose some players in NFL free agency, 11 combined starters offensively and defensively, this still figures to be, with the continued growth and development of Jalen Hurts, one of the best offenses in the NFL. Pretty cool backstory for Johnson in case you haven't been caught up to date here on the channel or you just don't know. Regardless, Johnson was actually coached by Jalen Hurts' father in high school. He's had a great relationship with Hurts ever since Hurts was a young kid. He was once the youngest offensive coordinator in FBS football after his short stint in professional football did end up not working to his advantage. He became a coach, becomes the youngest OC in FBS, and now a couple of years after that, he's going to call plays for this loaded and vaunted Philadelphia Eagles offense. So why I like the hire here of elevating Johnson from quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator, has a great background with quarterbacks and a great track record of developing them throughout his coaching career. He was at Mississippi State with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was really good at Mississippi State, has ended up being a very good NFL quarterback, even though he plays for the fraudulent Dallas Cowboys. He worked with Kyle Trask at the University of Florida, and in college, Kyle Trask was a really good quarterback, and now, over the last 2 years, he has overseen the development of Jalen Hurts, who in year one under Doug Peterson really struggled. His completion percentage hovered around 52-53%. It got better last year. And in 2022, obviously the Eagles set a franchise record for the most wins in the regular season in franchise history. They finished 14-3, number one seed in the NFC. They won the NFC East, but most importantly, Jalen Hurts took that progression and that next step as a passer and ended up finishing right behind Patrick Mahomes for the league's MVP award. As for Johnson at Utah, stud quarterback with the Utes, he was named the most outstanding player in the 2009 Sugar Bowl when Utah surprisingly beat Alabama back at the time. He's also called plays at the college level, so it's not like the Eagles are bringing in somebody who doesn't have play calling experience. If that was the case, then of course you'd have some concerns about Johnson being elevated from quarterbacks coach to OC. Another really important factor about him getting this promotion, he's really close with Jalen Hurts. And if they see the game eye to eye and they have that good connection, they have that level of camaraderie, and they have that good relationship, I do firmly believe that that can translate to seeing the game very similarly from the film room to actually in between the lines during a game day. And if that's the case, then they're going to have that type of kinship in running this offense. He certainly knows the intricacies of this system and this offense that, by the way, is Nick Sirianni's offense. So that continued continuity is really important for an Eagles offense last year that was fabulous, both running the football and throwing it, so he knows the system. I love his experience as a play caller. Many teams wanted him across the NFL to come in and be their play caller and their offensive coordinator, and he had a bevy of opportunities to do so. So it's not just Philadelphia who sees the potential in Brian Johnson. Other teams do as well, and it won't surprise me if at some point in the future he becomes a head coach maybe even as soon as the 2024 hiring cycle. But when Shane Steichen left, it became clear that Johnson wasn't going to go to another team in the NFL. Why would he? It just made sense to stay here if he was in fact going to get that promotion from Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman to become this offensive coordinator for a Birds offense that has limitless potential here in 2023. Why not stay when you have familiarity with the system, you have a great relationship with Nick Sirianni as well as Jalen Hurts, and a lot of the playmakers, the key foundational pillars of this offense are going to return this upcoming season. So I want to hear from you down in the comment section. I predicted this move months ago. A, B, C, D, or F, the promotion of Brian Johnson. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section. I also like how he's helped oversee the development of Hurts as a quarterback's coach. He's worked with him each of the last 2 years, and how much does he have to do with the strides that Hurts has been able to make? Of course, Hurts as an individual, as a football player, as a quarterback, has grinded. He's hustled. He's put in the necessary hours to really streamline his development, but Brian Johnson has also helped him develop as well. The downside, I guess, to maybe elevating Johnson is that you could have used some outside eyes for this offense. I guarantee you that teams in the NFC, teams in the NFC East, teams across the NFL are going to spend a lot of hours this offseason diving into the tape to try to pick apart how they can stop and limit this Eagles offense. And it's up to now Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni to not move forward with the same exact offense in 2023, because this is a copycat league. These defensive coordinators and defensive staffs are paid big money, and these coaches are coaches at the NFL level for a reason. They will be able to really identify what the Eagles do well, and it's up to the Eagles now to counter because their offense is on tape now. And it's going to be up to Brian Johnson to have some different wrinkles within this offense. And you can make the argument that some outside eyes coming in would maybe pose different threats to opposing defenses so that this offense could be a little bit different in 2023 so that you can counter some of those adjustments that are going to be made. But this is a move that I thought made sense all the way. You're losing Shane Steichen. You lost Jonathan Gannon. So right there, you're losing a continuity within your coaching staff. By elevating Brian Johnson, you're able to have a familiar face and some of that continued continuity. And I thought what Elliot Shore-Parks, who works for 94.1 WIP, host of the Go Birds podcast, know him pretty well. I thought what he shared about what Johnson looks for in a quarterback is pretty fascinating and interesting. There are a couple of steps and pillars that he looks for in a quarterback that he believes leads to success. Mental and physical toughness, Jalen Hurts has it. Leadership, Jalen Hurts has those intangibles. Decision-making, Hurts did not turn the football over a lot throughout 2022, which is really impressive to me, considering how much the Eagles relied on him both to throw it and to run it. And, of course, he had that scoop and score on Nick Bolton during the Super Bowl, which did change the momentum of that game and is a reason why the Eagles lost in Super Bowl 57. But he was a good decision maker all throughout this year, and I think that's impressive because he had the ball in his hand so much, and oftentimes he didn't put it in harm's way. Lastly, intelligence and the it factor. Jalen Hurts is a smart individual, smart person off the field, smart person in between the lines, and he has that it factor. And that's why I think the Eagles are so confident that Jalen Hurts can be that guy, and that's why they're going to be confident in making that investment in him, that he can be the franchise quarterback for this team. And by giving him a large investment, they don't have many concerns that Jalen Hurts can in fact spin it and be the face of this franchise moving forward. So we're going to continue to talk about this move. We're going to continue to talk about all the moves that the Eagles make all throughout this offseason. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel. The Eagles are at the NFL Combine right now. Howie Roseman's going to talk. Nick Sirianni's going to talk. This is really an important week because it's the first time that Howie Roseman is going to have some communication with some of the agents for some of these players who are on this Eagles roster. So he's going to be able to really get an indication as to how much some of these players might be asking for in free agency, and those conversations might lead to some deals getting done down in the future when NFL free agency starts. The tampering period, March 13th, new league year starts, and the official start of free agency, when those deals can be made official, begins on March 15th. All right, appreciate all of you for watching. Probably going to bring you another show later on in the day here on Eagles Now, so subscribe, lock us in, and as always, appreciate all of you for rocking with us early on a Tuesday.